Hello! I've been gone for a while, but I didn't do nothing. Today I want to talk a bit about taking breaks, inspiration, references, ideas and practice. Basically what I was doing the last few weeks. My plan was to originally publish the next video I wanted to a month ago, but no matter how much time I spent with it, I wasn't happy with it. So eventually I decided to drop it, but I will rework the idea because I still like it. Not having a new project at hand, I decided to take a bit of a break and go on smaller trips and walks. Then again, there were also quite a few things I wanted to practice. While I did quite a few animal organics already, I didn't do any humans yet, and that is because for some unknown reason I really don't enjoy doing them. Still, it's something I want to be good at, so I started with a simple nagged statue. For personal reasons, I had to do one. While I have to get the general proportions right, I don't have to do a face or clothes with folds, thankfully. Finding a reference, I learned that there are many different armors throughout the centuries. Some earlier ones are more leather and clothing, but eventually fully plated armor came up. I'm trying to build in light reflections as if the light would come from this angle, even on the sword using cobwebs. And where there is light, there's also shadow, making this whole thing a big gradient. I have it standing on a simple blue platform with its shadow cast on the floor, nothing fancy really. The night turned out a bit better than I expected, so the next day I moved on to mixing a desert fox with a human to create a hybrid. But this is way more enjoyable for me, and hey, I'm still practicing humanoid organics with this. Desert foxes are really cute animals with quite big ears. When I have the shape smoothed out, I'm using the Loft tool from Arceon to create clothes and flags, and I really wished I tried this sooner. It saves a lot of time. Basically you have this piece of paper and with left clicking you set the first point and then with right click the next points. It feels a bit like sewing, and when you set the loft, this is filled in. There are way better explanations of this out there if you're interested in it. For the texture I wanted to use different reds and even purple for the shadow, and what I have seen other people doing is using flowers to create highlights, so to try this I am using netherwood. Looks pretty neat. I also picked up drawing regularly again, and this is way faster for me to practice proportions and try out different compositions and colors than doing a whole build each time. Getting off topic a bit. I believe it is hardest to come up with your own ideas as you have to consider composition, color, shape and lighting too. But it is the most fun. Still you will need references to know how things look, like could you draw an accurate elephant without looking one up for example? In the same way I struggle with clouds, and to be honest at this point I'm just messing around a bit. Fixed the height of the neck now though he was a bit short. One thing I really wanted to try out was Arceon's TerraGen command, a command that creates different terrains depending on the used pattern and size. It may be really simple, but that is exactly what I need. You see, I'm very lazy, especially at the end of a project when just the terrain is left to do. This is just awesome. Combine it with the arc angle command that replaces blocks on an angle and other noise patterns, you can make simple terrains in like 5 minutes. I tried different landscapes, some more alien-like, some have rivers and rocks in them, one is even a pinkish desert. I'm using as many different themes as possible and trying out new block combinations for the fun of it. If you'd ask me for my favorite, it might actually be the desert. One thing I am putting more and more focus on is to find ways builds look alive and moving. I was not just practicing organics, but also some very detailed ornaments or other parts of Gothic cathedrals. You can use full blocks, slabs, stairs, walls, fences, signs, levers and even scrolls to create shapes as round and smooth as possible. Sadly, it limits me to either grey, black or white unless I scale it up even more. The second one is the rose window, and out of laziness I used the same block palette again. This looks a bit harder than it actually is, because when you have 1/4 figured out, you can pretty much just rotate it. Here I tried a technique called anti-aliasing, where you blur the full blocks into the surrounding using glass. From a distance this looks definitely smoother, but as most texturing techniques from close up, it is questionable. I had a very ambitious and somewhat stupid idea to put pixel art in a distance behind the window so that it really resembles the highly detailed, colorful windows churches have, but I kept it rather simple this time. Move a block to the side and the illusion is destroyed. I'm not trying to put too much effort into each of these, as I want to get as much done as possible. Usually you get a lot done in the first hours, but by the end of a project where you fix every tiny detail, you can spend almost as much time again without changing a lot. And because I know I can easily build 2 wings when I can build 1, I save myself the work this time and will just flip and copy it. For a more important project, I most likely wouldn't do this, as it looks very symmetrical and unnatural. The pose the bird is in helps with that though. It is the moment a hawk stands almost still in the air to prey down on small animals. Actually, this is a white-tailed kite, a very pretty bird with white to grey and black feathers. I'm mixing in more bluish and brownish blocks too for the shadows. Shadows aren't exactly black when you paint, so I started doing this in Minecraft too. Finally, I changed up the position of the legs slightly so that not everything is perfectly symmetrical. From the front, he's a derp. I'd like to point out that wings have a certain amount of feathers depending on the species. When you take a closer look, you will notice these primary feathers are a lot bigger and pointier than these secondary feathers. There's a lot more about wings, but I don't want to point out every detail right now. I tend to be very perfectionistic with whatever I do, and sometimes, to be honest, to a point I don't want to even start a project. And while being a bit perfectionistic might even be helpful to improve, always make sure to not overdo it. Don't take what you do too seriously, have fun instead. Sometimes taking a break is also helping with finding ideas and motivation. And with that, I think I talked enough about what I was doing the last month. Except, I also competed in the Builder's Refugee hand-placed fortress competition with the amazing Macware. It was a lot of fun, and even though none of us wanted to win, we got first place. Really didn't expect that. I know I talked a lot in this video, so don't take this too seriously. The next one will be a project I've been working on quite a while now, so until then, goodbye!